What if everything you're chasing, wealth, peace, freedom, starts happening the moment you let go? The law of detachment flips everything you've been taught. When you just stop needing it to happen your way, life starts to move in your favor. But that's easier said than done. So if you want real success, these 6 hard truths about detachment are not optional. And these mountains behind me, they have everything to do with what I'm about to show you. Truth number 1 is not about letting go of your goals. It's about letting go of the version of you that's preventing you from hitting your goals. Early on, when I was starting a business, I always liked to be in control. What I ended up realizing was trying to be in control actually ended up holding me back, because you get to a point where you are your own bottleneck. Maybe in those super early days when I was the one doing everything as the only person in my business that I started, it worked out. But the moment I started hiring people, I was now micromanaging, which defeated the purpose of hiring someone to do the work if I have to constantly look over their shoulder. Anytime I've noticed that I get into the state where I need to control things, it is a form of me having to make up for some lack or blind spot that I wasn't yet aware of. But again, the moment I let go and I fix those things, everything starts to move faster. When I'm clinging on to everything, it's actually way more chaotic in my life. The times that I've had to work 80 to 100 hours a week, it's because of this version of me that is unhealthy. It has to know what's going on, because usually it's because the company isn't doing well. And so when the company isn't doing well, I immediately go into this fight or flight mode, the scarcity or fear mindset that I have. And then that's when I'm trying to look at every little thing, versus being able to zoom out, detach, and understand what is actually going on and how do I solve those root causes. And when you can really internalize this first principle, it's going to allow you to delegate better. It's going to allow you to see more clearly. And overall, it's going to make less stress, and you're going to get better results from doing it. Truth number 2 is that the very things that you obsess over most are actually the things that end up slipping away. So before my 4th business that ended up being successful and growing that to $15 million a year, my previous 3 businesses before that failed. But there was one caveat on difference. In those 3 businesses that failed, I absolutely needed the businesses to succeed. Like, in my mind, I was like, I'm gonna start a business, I'm gonna become the successful entrepreneur, and basically brute force my way to succeeding. And ironically enough, it ended up being the reason why I didn't succeed, because I was so predicated on the outcomes of business that I didn't realize that I was doing all of the wrong things in business for it to even succeed. Ironically enough, that 4th business, it wasn't even supposed to be a business. It was actually a passion project that I had with my dad, where we were teaching in-person trading classes in San Jose, California. He was a full-time day trader. I was a full-time day trader. I learned from him, and we were just doing it for fun on the side. Like, we were losing money having these classes on the weekend. By doing that, we saw how much opportunity there was in the markets, really, for a high quality trading education product. And so that just comes to show I spent 5, 6, 7 years launching and starting these other businesses. And the one that I actually did not even try and force and was detached from the outcome, because I knew it was helping others, because I was passionate about the product, because I understood the user and demographic, it ended up being successful. But I couldn't see those things because the first 3, I was so attached to the outcome for my ego. The same principles apply even for me right now filming this video for you. I'm here in Switzerland with my family. This is a family vacation that kept on getting postponed because I was constantly too busy with business. I'm always going to be too busy in business. And so I had to create an outcome where even with chaos, even with unpredictability, it didn't matter, because I was detached from having to be in control. If I had a great team to manage it, which I do, then why do I have to be so concerned if I'm gone for a week or 2? People should be able to solve it, right? It's the detachment of having to be so in control, detachment of seeing daily results versus trusting and understanding that if I focus on the right inputs of hiring the right people, building the right systems and team, having the right measurements in business, then I can detach, like what I'm doing currently. More likely than not, the company should actually grow and increase and solve problems without me having to be there. So if obsession hurts your progress, then what creates real momentum? Truth number 3 is you don't need more effort to get what you want. You need to multiply the effort of what you're already putting in. Same principle happened the other day. I was on a hike in the Swiss Alps and the team ended up closing 7 or 8 deals. And we haven't had a day like that in, I don't know, maybe like a month. And the reason why is not because I'm on my laptop listening to every single call, messaging every closer, trying to be in the details. It's, did I create the right system for the sales team to succeed? Did I create the right culture? Did I hire the right people to manage and close the deals? Because if so, then I need to make sure that I let them do their thing. Because more times than not, when things don't go well, the first instinct is to immediately jump in and be like, what's going on, what's wrong? But my first thought should be, do I have the right people and do I have the right systems? If those are a no, that's where I should actually be channeling my focus. And if it's a yes, it might just be a blip and you have to give it time to actually play out. You have to actually detach, because as long as you're holding everything together in the business, you won't know what's actually broken. But the moment you let go and stuff starts breaking, immediately you're gonna be like, okay, how and why did this break? How is this going on? And that's gonna allow you to actually think to see if you have the right people or systems. And true leverage is built not by you holding everything together with every single fiber in your body, but by being able to let go and trust your team and you focusing on having the highest leverage things first. But even when the external results multiply without you, the more uncomfortable shit begins. You start realizing how much of your identity was built around being needed. Truth number 4 is that letting go forces you to ask, who am I without the struggle? One of the reasons why I made sure I didn't keep postponing this family vacation and I actually came was because I realized I was probably now building bad habits in the company. I just finished a 30-day sprint where I was working 80 to 100 hours a week. And now that I've had time in a different country to reflect, be in nature, part of me was like, what did I have to do to work that much that I couldn't just hire the right person to do? Because we have a team of 40 to 50 people. So unless I'm doing something that does not require me at all, most likely I can break these bad habits. And when I go back, actually focus on the highest leverage things that don't require me to be at my desk 7 days a week, 14 hours a day. My goal is to be able to just detox, go into the forest and woods, and really just figure out what habits do I need to break from the past 90 days. These bad habits pop up very fast. You can solve it, and 9 days later, you have a new habit, or heck, a different form of that bad habit comes back into your life. I actually read an article the other day about Bill Gates, how he used to take these think weeks. Every 90 days, he would take 1 week off. He didn't bring his laptop. He didn't bring his phone. He just brought pen and paper and books. And he would just sit there and detach. And what that made me realize is the same principles probably applied. Anytime he's constantly in the day-to-day and go of the motion, you start to understand and realize how much you're holding on to that's holding you back. And what I came to realize in this trip is me clinging on to everything is a way of me telling myself that I'm productive, that it's this hustle culture. I'm this entrepreneur that can work 80 to 100 hours a week. No, like I'd rather brag about being the entrepreneur that has to work 10 hours a week because I have the right people and systems. In my position now in the company where we have this many people, I get paid to think. I get paid to make the right decisions. And the moment I started to realize that on this trip, I was like, man, if I'm not doing that, I'm actually hurting everybody in the company because they expect me to make the right decisions and make the right hires and to think about the future of the company. But if I'm in their weeds trying to solve things for them, it means I'm not doing my job and it means they can't do their job either. And once you've created that distance, the only thing left for you to track is what you can actually control, your inputs. Truth number 5, when you obsess over results, you stay reactive. When you focus on showing up the right way daily, the outcome takes care of itself. So I caught up with another business owner in my space and niche, and his business is doing about $2 million a month. And I was talking to his head of sales and I was like, what's your interaction like with the CEO? And he was like, honestly, I talk with the CEO maybe 3 times a week. I said, oh, he doesn't meet with you often on the sales team or anything else? He's like, no, I run the sales team and I hit numbers. He tells us where he wants to go as a business and I take that and I just get it done. Same thing about marketing, right? The COO, he is in charge of basically all the marketing for that company and making sure things are good to go. He works with the sales director and they communicate and that's it. The founder, really all he does is just make content and set the vision. And I was like, man, what am I doing wrong where I'm working this much, yet his business is larger than mine and he's barely doing it. And the biggest thing that I learned was it was a people. Yeah, the people I thought I had in the team were not to the caliber of his people. the reason why I'm still stuck in all this day to day is because of one thing, was that I didn't hire the right people. If I just focus on that, everything else should solve itself. But what I keep defaulting to is I keep trying to solve things myself, or I keep trying to have other people in the company solve other things that they may not be strong at. So what needs to happen is I need to just focus on bringing in the right leaders and letting them do their thing, again, with the right guardrails, with the right systems, and detach. And what I realized was letting go wasn't a lack of ambition. It was letting go of identity addiction. Once I focused entirely on inputs and I let go of outcomes, that's when I stopped needing wins to feel in control. And ironically, that's when the biggest wins came. Truth number 6, letting go isn't just peaceful, it's profitable. My most profitable year in business was actually the year that I focused inside the business the least. And it's because I had people that I could trust that I let them do their thing. And I've noticed the times when I'm in control and I'm working, I'm grinding, those are actually my least profitable years, because it ties back to the fact of detaching from the things that should not be in your control. If the sales team isn't closing, do you have the right sales leader? Is that sales leader set up to succeed? Or why do you have to go and be the salesperson managing everything? If something on marketing is broken, why do you not have a good VSL or ads or some sort of marketing material? Do you have the right copywriters? Do you have the right person buying your Facebook and YouTube ads? Or are you the one doing it because they're messing up? And all of this just ties back to the immediate reaction first being, how do I solve this versus what do I need to do in order to solve this? And when you understand this, you actually end up locking an abundance mindset. And the most dangerous person is somebody who has an abundance mindset, because they don't need the end result or outcome to happen. And what you'll come to see is that the most valuable people in the world don't need to prove anything. And ironically, that's what makes them worth everything. If you enjoyed this video, I made another video that talks about the 3 clear signs that you're going to be a millionaire in the next year. So go check it out.